Hi! In case anyone is watching, and if you care, this is not my home. I'm shooting in a hotel room because I finally beat my procrastination. Yay! So my name is Michelle, and this channel is about just me sharing my ways in dealing with emotion. And the reason I decided to do this is because people around me has been repeatedly telling me that I'm good at it. And also emotions is such a topic that we always know like what to do. For example, we want to get emotionally stable. Like we know that displaying our anger to others is the wrong thing. Not many people are talking about how to do it, because to be honest, it really requires learning and practice. But I think once you started analyzing and trying to understand what is underneath, it's actually a great tool for self-exploration and foundation of self-growth. And also I need to stress the fact that I'm not a professional. All of this is just my personal observations and my trials and experiments when dealing with my emotions. So please seek professional help if you're having mental health issues. Okay, so knowing and aligning what we're facing is the first step of seeing this problem. This video, I'm going to start with some common ways on people see their emotion and also the problem they're facing, and finally my own solutions to this. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is my observations on how people see the emotion, and there are 3 levels. So for level 1, people see emotions as a box of chocolate. With that being said, they think emotions are like a mystery box, and also when you get a piece of chocolate, you either throw it away or eat it. You don't have much interaction. Emotions to them are just objects that comes and goes. Now for me, I think the problem with this model is that it fails to capture the dynamics we can have with our emotions. By developing your emotional intelligence, you can actually choose what relationship you want with your emotion. Now for the second level is that some people see emotions as a horse or any wild animal. That means that they think emotions needs to be controlled or disciplined. Now, I do agree that we can't just let emotions get on top of us every time. There will be times that we need to be functionable, sociable animals. However, we both know that it's not realistic to control your emotions, because emotions are our natural response. So trying to control them actually manifests a rejection to this natural instinct of yours, which is why I think usually people who try harder to control their emotions will end up being more emotionally unstable. And for the third level is that some people want emotions to be their employees. This means that they're trying to get the best out of their emotions by paying the minimum wage. Probably are looking for desirable outcomes, and they want to manipulate their emotions in their own way. And I think there's nothing wrong with that for certain times, because when you're so eager to be the boss of your emotions, it's very easy to overlook the causes and the effects. So instead of trying so hard to be the boss of your emotions, I would say that the most effective way to deal with your emotions is to treat them as your friend or like another version of yourself. Yes, sometimes we scold each other for the stupid things we did, but at the end of the day, we were always there for each other. Also, we take turns in giving advice on how we should live our life. And I think forming a good relationship with your emotions is really essential, because at the end of the day, you should be the person who understands yourself the most. And I think that's the foundation of soul searching and guiding yourself towards what you want. So the second thing I want to talk about is the obsession of happiness. Well, I know everybody wants happiness, but wanting happiness versus wanting to stay happy all the time is 2 different things. I'm talking about the unrealistic expectation of staying happy all the time. This kind of thinking can really cause a lot of problems, because first of all, we know that it's impossible. So taking this expectation will only stress you out and even blame yourself for carrying any emotions other than happiness. And also, instead of chasing happiness, you will actually be more happier if you accept the fact that emotions are diverse and there are no negative and positive emotions. Respecting your emotional state is the first step. And in case you're in a difficult time, I want you to know that you don't need to blame yourself for not being happy. And I know it's hard, but trying to respect your emotional state is the foundation of self-love. So that's the biggest issue I observe when people dealing with their emotions. And now let's get into the basic principles of growing from anything. Let's say today you want to grow from your emotions. Now, the first thing you really need to bear in mind is that your perception is always distorted and filtered. It is because every time you think you know something, you are actually rejecting new information. As human beings, all of us are vulnerable to confirmation bias, and also we tend to only remember things that are consistent with our beliefs and values. So in order to learn new things, you really need to be conscious about the fact that everything you are perceiving is heavily filtered by what you want, and also you will probably only remember the things that you like most, which means that what comes natural to us can be very different to another person. And when it comes to emotions, anger is actually a very great tool in exploring your beliefs and values. Like things that upset you may not upset others. Every one of us has a different perception, especially when it comes to emotion. Each of us can have a unique reaction to our emotions. So no matter how many self-help books you have read or videos you have watched, the only person you need to get to know is yourself. Now I will talk about more specific solutions when dealing with your emotions. So the first one is control your reaction rather than the feeling itself. The goal of emotional intelligence is never about shutting down your feelings, whereas it's about expressing them in a healthy and constructive way. Though it's natural to escape from certain emotions, please don't overestimate your ability in swallowing your emotions. I think in order to be emotionally stable, you need to really schedule times to let your feelings out so that you can be socially acceptable when needed. And emotional mature people always find time to re-examine what they were feeling and also try to see the causes and effects. But of course, if you are in so much pain and you feel like it is really unbearable for the moment, it's okay to put it aside for a time, but just remember, when you're feeling better, it's always good to explore your feelings and figure out what happened. And that is quite different from simply telling yourself not to feel. And the second thing I think everyone should do is to nourish your self-encouragement voice. There are in fact many versions of us in our heads, and each time you let them take over the wheel, they became more powerful. Each of them has different roles and objectives. And according to my observation, most of the problems are actually caused by the lack of self-confidence. Like you get angry easily when someone attacks you because you need to protect your ego, or you self-sabotage because you don't think you deserve something. And actually, before you decide to do something, you need to think that you deserve it, otherwise you won't get it. And especially nowadays with social media, where it's very easy for people to judge, I think we became even more cautious of mistakes, also bad image of ourselves. And also when you've got to a point where you are self-sufficient, you won't need to rely on any people or anything. The only recognition you need is self-recognition. Instead of trying to change other perception or so, I would invest my time seeing my self-worth and also encouraging myself in trying new things. And in order to do that, you need to understand this, and that is what bothers you is nothing but you. Not only we are vulnerable to confirmation bias, we also tend to pay attention to unexpected things. A good example would be when people behave nice to us, we kind of take it for granted because we believe that people should be nice. And then someday when there is just one person start being disrespectful or impolite to you, you will give them massive attention because you will start wondering why they are behaving this way, and also it kind of breaks your normal reality. I'm not sure if you get this, but the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes we focus on things that we can't control and then we get upset. I know everyone should deserve respect, I'm not saying that is wrong, but I can't control how people behave. And same happens for happiness. If you are so into the belief that you need to, and also it's right to be happy all the time, you will get very upset when you feel anything but happy. When we are so into our beliefs, we kind of create this internal conflict when things didn't turn out the way we expect them to be. My solution to this is to always bear in mind of things that you can control versus things you can't. If you rethink about all the things that upset you or make you angry, it's actually stem from your beliefs and values that you invest so much energy. When there is any discrepancy with these beliefs and reality, you get upset. In case you didn't notice, the whole point I'm trying to make in this video is that we should only control the things we can control. So in case anyone is watching and you've watched till here, leave a handshake emoji to let me know, and I will make more videos like this in the future. See you!